right, so here we go. We are going to be doing the joints for the thighs to do all the faces and everything together, so we can glue everything together. So to do that, I'm actually going to turn some stuff off real quick. So I'm going to turn off the right thigh. I'm going to turn off the bottom thigh. I don't really need that. Yeah, I do. No, I don't need that. And then I want to turn off the top as well. I think I'm going to leave the front and the back on right now because I'm going to know where those are in a second. And I'm going to create the joints. Actually, I'm going to start by creating the side of the thigh right here. Now I need to know a few things. First of all, I need to know, because like on this side, I'll have these little, let me show you what it looks like. So on this side, I have more joints coming down on the front than I do on the back, because the back is a shorter back here. So I have more joints and less joints. So I need to know how far down to go. So I'm actually going to do a project onto my sketch of this one. That will tell me how far down to go on that side, and then this one on that side. So you can see that line goes farther down there. And then what else do I need to know? I need to know where the back side is. I need to know where this surface comes. Because I don't want to build a joint that goes over into this area. I want this area to be kind of clean. So I need this joint right here to be lower than this corner. So now I know where that corner is. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to switch back flat on the right, and now I'm going to turn everything off. Actually, what I'm going to do is turn everything on and then just turn the thigh off and turn both legs off. I don't need to see those either. So this kind of gives me an idea where we are. So this is the front. So I'm going to take a line. So this is the back of the thigh. I need to do 90. Why are you not being cooperative? So at the very last second, it stops being cooperative. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit. There it is. Come on. I'm looking for that 90-degree mark. There it was. Why aren't you snapping? So frustrating. So one thing I could do is I could just hit tab and do 180. And then it fixes it into that spot. And then when I get the X, I'm all the way across. So that's the line, that's the bottom of the back. So that's that line right there. That's how far it's like right across there. So I need to make sure there's not a joint right across there. And then I need to make sure that the other one is, yeah, it's this one. Come across. And it's doing the same thing, so frustrating. Let's see, so here it says 1.1 degree and I want it to be 0 degrees, which is straight across. So 0 and 180 are the same thing, depending on which direction you're pointing or which way it's rotating. So that's my bottom of the front. And I'm just going to turn the lower leg on so I can see which way is front real quick. So turn the right leg on. So the front is on my left because that's where the toe is, and the back is on my right. Okay. So now I'm going to go... Actually, what might be smarter is to do these lines a little differently. Yeah. So I'm actually going to undo a few things. So I'm going to go back and turn off this leg, turn off thigh. I'm just going to Control Z until I get rid of those two lines. And I'm going to do them a little differently. So the line, just to mark where it is, I'm going to do a construction line. And I'm just going to go part of the way out like that. And I'm going to do another one here. I'm going to go part of the way in instead of all the way across. That way I know what side they're on. This is for the back, that side. This is for the front, that side. Okay. All right, so everything else looks good. Now we need to create some tabs. I'll work on this front side because there was more of them. And we want to make sure that the tabs line up so that there's a cut opening across there. Let's just do it. I think what I'm going to do is start here at the bottom and do a cut, turn the construction lines off. And this is going to be thickness, and this is going to be 1 centimeter, enter. And then I'm just going to do a few more of those. And I'm just gonna, I just grabbed the center, so that one's gonna be frozen. So escape. I don't want to start on the center, otherwise I won't be able to move it around. And this is gonna be 1 and thickness. And I'm not gonna do a rectangular pattern this time. I think I'm just gonna space by dimensions instead. I'm gonna do another one up here. I'm gonna call that thickness, and that's gonna be 1. And I'm just gonna do a couple more of those. So 1 here, and this is gonna be 1 and thickness. And I'll need some more, but let's start with those. And I think what might look nice is to have a dimension of about 1 centimeter in between. So I'm going to dimension from here to here. I'm going to say that should be 1. Now, these are going to be the cutaways. Yep, so these are going to be holes. So at the bottom is a hole, and the top is a hole. So that looks pretty good so far. So let's see what the dimensioning looks like if I keep doing this. And I say 1 here. Oh, actually, I think what I can do, let me try this. I think I can do that. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is kind of, I think this will work. I haven't tried it before. It's my first time. So the dimension of this one, instead of typing a number here, I clicked on this dimension. What I'm hoping is that if I change this dimension, say 1.25, yeah, it changes all of them. So this will allow us to easily go back and adjust without doing a rectangular pattern tool. All right, so then I'm going to do the same thing for all these. I'm going to dimension from here to here. Instead of typing a number, I'm going to click on that dimension, the original dimension. I'm going to say enter. And then I need more boxes, so I need another one. So basically what we're doing is creating a manual tool or rectangular pattern tool. 1 inch by, or 1 centimeter by thickness, and then I'm going to dimension this one to here and right there, and I'm going to go ahead and grab, I could grab any of these and they should flow through. Let's just do that one and see if they flow through. Because if I change this one, it'll change that one and that one, but then this one will change that one. So hopefully we'll see if it works. And then we'll grab this one. And then the only question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want a hole there or not? So thickness and 1, enter, and then we're going to do a dimension. This is where you'll just be able to play around with this. It's kind of a new technique for creating these. And again, I'm just going to go with this other one. Whoops, I did it twice. That's not going to do me any good. Just once. Enter. All right, awesome. And then maybe one more. So I'm going to click here. This one's going to go off a little bit, which is fine. 1 tab thickness. Enter. And then here I'm going to dimension between here and there. And it's going to be the same as that one. Enter. All right. So when I look at this, this is this side. I want the top of this one to be cut a little bit. So I need to pull them down a little bit. And I don't want a cut to happen here. I want a cut to happen. Yeah, so I want a cut to happen right here so that it's clear on that one. So the tab is on this side. And what we're talking about here are cuts. So I want a cut centered on this. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change this to 1 centimeter. And that gives me a cut right at that joint like I want. So that's good. It gives me a cut right at, I want another cut right at this lower joint down here. So that's good. So I want my holes, the things I'm cutting through, to be even with this one and even with that one. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it doesn't really matter. This is just aesthetics. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pattern this to the other side, except I'm going to leave off the ones that are down below here. And I'm going to turn, actually I need to turn this into a real line, not a construction line. Escape. out of my dimensioning tool, click on the line and just undo the construction part, and you'll see why in a second. And now I'm going to draw across the middle. I'm going to do a quick construction line this time. And this is going to be my mirroring point. I'm going to mirror these to the other side. And I'm going to do a mirror tool. And I'm going to mirror this, this, this. I'm actually going to set my mirror line since I can see it right now. And that way I can actually see what's happening when I mirror as well. Click back to my objects. And then, so now I have, this is my mirror line. I've just mirrored across that picture of them. And I'm going to do the same thing on all of these. Oh wait, I don't need this top one, actually. Because that's where this other side ends. I don't think it hurts to have it. Let's just leave it and see what happens. We'll just see. Everything is complicated. I'm going to mirror all of these, except for the ones that are below, because there's my cutoff. But I want my cutoff to be a hole, so I'm going to put it across there. And I'm not going to extrude this part. I'm just going to extrude this top part. I don't need this one for sure. And I'm going to click OK. And I definitely need the top one, actually, now that I look at it. Oh, one thing I wanted is for this top one to be a cutaway all the way up. So I'm going to increase my, because what I want is I want this cut to be at the top of the thing, at least the top, if not a little over it. So I'm actually going to increase this to 1.1. I'm going to see how that affects it. I still want my a cut to be there, which it is kind of. And that was too much, so I went way above. So I can actually decrease that. So instead of 1.1, I'm going to do 1.05. Again, this is all aesthetic, so if you don't really care, that's fine as well. So I'm just barely above, so that's where I want to be. I've got a cut that's right in the middle of this, and that's where I want it to be. And I should have a cut at the bottom, hopefully now. And that's the last place. I want to cut here at the bottom. So I'm happy with all of that. All right, so just like with the leg, the first ones are brutal and the rest get easy fast. So here's how I'm going to cut this super easy. I'm going to turn on the thigh, the whole thigh. I'm going to turn off everything but the right and the left thigh. Let me show you what it looks like when I'm done. So now I just have those two pieces across, right? And what I can do is, I actually don't need, yes I do, okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually slice right all the way across all four sides of this right in the first time. So I'll do an extrude, and I'm just going to pick up all of these pieces in here. The only one I'm not going to pick up is this lower piece here, because it's beyond where the thigh is going to be, right? So on this side, right across here is where the back of the thigh stops. So I don't want to cut out an extra groove there. And I'm going to keep going up this one, choosing all of them. And then I'm going to pull it out that way a little bit to show it which direction I want to go. And then I'm going to go and all the way through command. And I'm going to slice it all the way through, just like that. I'm going to say, okay. And yeah, I think that will do it. Awesome. And the last thing I want to do is I actually need to remove the middle part of these guys out. So there's just a strip here. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to take right here, I'm going to create a sketch here, and then I'm going to project this one, and that one. Because that's where I'm going to actually be doing my cutting. Wait, I think. Let me look at it from the side. No, I didn't want those last two. So not that one, not that one. I want this one and this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude those down in the center. I'll show you what I mean. Click OK. So now I know where those two, because right now there's two high parts that shouldn't be high in the middle. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to go grab a square. I'm just going to draw a random rectangle. Doesn't matter how big. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some constraints. So I'm going to do a collinear from here to the top and here to the bottom right there. And then I'm going to do a dimensioning tool. I'm going to dimension it from here to the outside edge as being a thickness. Enter. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Here to the outside leg should just be a thickness. Enter. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to do it randomly because I don't like the way that looked. It looked like it wasn't snapping like it's supposed to. So I'm going to do collinear from here to here. And then, yep, that looks good. And then I'm going to do a dimensioning. So D for dimensioning tool. Click from here to the outside edge, and that's going to be a thickness. And then the other side the other way as well. So a thickness here. All right, now I'm going to extrude. I want to make sure I'm extruding the right stuff. I'm going to tip it sideways a little bit. I need to extrude this one and this one and that one and that one. And these are already, like the middle part is already extruded, so I don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to just do it. I don't want to come out, I want to cut in. So I'm going to go a negative thickness. Oop, I did it again. So I got to redo my extrude because I made that same mistake. I think what's happening is when I click somewhere else, it doesn't have this highlight anymore, so I'm not actually typing in here. So when I do thickness, it does something else. So here I need to do negative thickness. Enter. And it's going to cut. I'm going to say OK. And now you can kind of see why I did that. Now that piece of wood, the front thigh, it will be down inside there already. And I can actually do that right now. So I'm going to actually cut this front one. So I'm going to cut this front one using this one. I want to do a cut. And that'll make it red. And that one. And you can see now I'm using the sides to cut the front thighs. And I'm going to click OK. Oops, except I didn't keep my tools, so my thighs are gone. I don't want to do that. I'm going to right click back here in the history bar, do edit feature, and I'm going to say keep tools. Make that mistake and then click OK, and the tools are there now. And now if I do a quick move, I can see I've already cut my front of my thigh out quite a bit. So there's a lot of work getting the thigh lined up properly, but once you do, life gets a little easier. Now let's flip it over and do the same thing on the back side. So I'm going to turn my front thigh off, and I'm going to turn back to here and see if I need to do this side. See, there's that bar of stuff that's going to be in the way. So I'm going to do a quick sketch here. I'm going to project this one onto the sketch so I can do both at the same time. So project is the P button for the project tool. I'm going to click over here. I'm going to do just a random rectangle and then random rectangle. And then I'm going to do my collinear tool. I'm going to line the top, bottom with the bottom, top with the top, bottom with the bottom. Then I'm going to hit D for dimensioning, and I'm going to dimension this outside as being thickness. And this one is thickness. And the same thing on the click dimensioning tool. I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. And then thickness. Then over here, same thing. And one more thickness. Okay, and then I'm going to go with extrude. I'm going to extrude. Well, that's super strange. Cancel. Why did that not pick up that square? Okay, so I have no idea why it's not showing me as having been able to click something inside here. So I'm going to go to Finish Sketch, and I'm just going to Control Z until I back out of making those squares and see if I can't redo it. I'm going to go all the way back till I don't have that sketch anymore. So that's back where I am prior to having that sketch. And I'm going to recreate a new sketch right on that surface. Okay. And then I'm going to project this one onto there. I'm going to project that one too, why not? Okay. And then I'm going to create a rectangle. And this time I'm not going to do the collinear tool. I'm just going to go all the way down to get that X so I know I'm snapped onto it. And then I'm going to use my dimensioning tool and go from here to the outside edge and call that thickness. And here to this outside edge and call that thickness. And same thing over here. All right, and now when I extrude, hopefully I'll be able to, but I can't. Which is super bizarro world. Why would that not be extrudable? Control S. I'm going to save this. There might be something glitchy with Fusion, and I'm going to come back. Let me figure this out. I'll come back and help you. All right, so I just restarted Fusion, and it works fine now. So it wasn't that we were doing anything wrong. Yours probably worked just fine. Mine just glitched for whatever reason. So I'm going to hit E for extrude. I'm going to extrude out those center ones. I'm going to do a negative thickness. I'm going to say OK. And now I've got the backside done. So now I'm going to turn back on the back thigh. And I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to cut, the target's going to be the back thigh. And I'm going to do a cut. I'm going to keep my tools. I'm going to cut it with the two side thighs. And I'm going to say OK. So all of a sudden I've got most of the joints cut on the back thigh as well. And then I'm going to turn the front thigh on, and I'm going to cut the joints on the top thigh. And on the top thigh, I'm going to want the cutouts to be in the corners as well, so there's no wood there. I want the wood to be showing in the front. I think that looks really nice. So I'm going to actually do a quick sketch on the top surface, turning everybody else off. And I'm going to want the cuts to be in the corners. So I'm going to just grab a square and do thickness. And 1 centimeter again. I'm just going to create a rectangular pattern. Nope, create rectangular pattern. Zoom in, grab the 3 important sides. I'm actually going to undo that. I'm going to grab it from this side first so that my arrows are on that end because I'm going to drag it to the other side. And I'm just going to drag this all the way across. And I'm going to do there. Yep, that's all the way there. And now I just need to add a number of them until I'm happy with what I have. Actually, I'm going to cancel this and do it a little easier way. So I'm going to create another one in this corner. That way I can do rectangular pattern on both at the same time. Thickness and 1. And I'm going to create rectangular pattern. And I'm going to grab that one, that one, that one. And then also these 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then I did it backwards. That's okay. Nope, I don't want that. I want that arrow. And I'm just going to drag them all the way out to the edge. And this time they snap to the edge really well because it's an even number, the width of this thing apparently. And now I'm just going to increase the number of them. So for that looks nice. 5, that looks nice. Maybe one more. 6, 7. I like 7. You can use as many as you'd like, obviously. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm just going to extrude, whoops, E for extrude, and I'm going to cut all these out. And I'm going to do here a negative thickness. That's going to cut them, and I'm going to say, okay, perfect. Now I need to do the same thing for this outside. I'm going to actually, should have done this before, just forgot. Create one here, thickness, I'm going to center this one, 1 centimeter, enter. And then I'm just going to draw a random line just straight across here. I'm going to collinear that line with that one, and I'm going to center this one on that one. Awesome. So that's going to be my tab. I'll cut out those 2 shoulders, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say that's thickness, 1 centimeter, enter. I'm going to do my center tool here on that one. Grab just a random line. Don't want to do it the halfway point or it'll be trapped there. You won't be able to move it. And then here. And then I'm going to do a collinear here to there. And I'm going to extrude. I'm going to cut away this one. Yeah, that's how I want that. And that one, that one, that one. And negative thickness. Enter. Now that piece is totally done. So I'm going to bring back everyone else. And I'm going to want to cut each of these pieces with the top. So each of the 4 pieces around. And yeah, each of the 4 pieces, I'm going to cut them with the top. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say I'm going to cut this one with that one. Okay. And then I want to cut, yeah, that'll work. I want to combine, I want to cut this one with that one. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this side piece with that one. All right. Now I've got one more to do on this side. So I'm going to combine, I'm going to cut, yep, I'm going to cut the back thigh here with the top one. Okay. And now I'm just going to check to make sure everything is done right. So I'm going to move the top of the thigh. I'm going to grab it, move it out of the way. And it looks like all those things are cut there, and they're all cut on that one, so that's ready to go. Now I need to do a similar thing with this bottom one here. Yeah, so I actually kind of like where these ended up. Let me look at the front here. I may have gotten lucky. Yeah, so that's, let me get rid of the top so I can see it. Yeah, that'll be great. I'm just going to actually project these down to the bottom one and just cut it. So this wood was lined up nicely. So I'm going to turn off everything but the top and the bottom of the thigh. And I'm going to create this one. And I'm going to project this one. And then I'm going to extrude all of this out. So that made that one pretty fast. Oh no, wait, I want to do one more thing because I don't. No, I think that's right. I'm going to extrude. Keep rolling. I think I can handle the other one another way. What I was thinking about is the thigh is going to come in and intersect with a tab right here in the middle somewhere. And I was thinking maybe I could project that onto this piece and then cut it with the same ones. But I think I can do it in a different way. Thickness, enter. And then now I can't. So what I was hoping, let me show you what I'm looking at here. Left thigh. So notice how the left thigh comes through here. So if I use this bottom to cut the hole in this one, because it's solid right here, it's going to cut off that. So I actually need to project that and do a cutout of that. So I'm going to turn the right thigh on as well. I'm going to create a drawing here. Let me turn the top thigh off. And I'm going to project that surface. Say OK. Turn off the right and left thigh so I can see what I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to extrude and cut those two holes as well. And here is negative thickness. So yeah, I need to cut those in the first place. All right, so now once that's all done, I'm going to turn everything back on. And I need to cut some stuff. So I need to cut this one with the bottom thigh now. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to cut that one, use this one. And I'm going to say, OK. And then I'm going to cut the side piece, because I need to cut that. See how there's now going to be a hole right there? Cut that one, OK. And then I need to cut this side piece at the bottom. Just cut that hole right there. Say OK. And I need to rotate around, and I need to cut this back piece with that piece. Now cut all those into it. Okay. All right, so I think we're getting close to having the joints all in. Oh, we might actually have them all in. So let's do just a quick inspection. So I'm just going to move everything and see if the stuff that I need is there. There's that one. Well, the question is, do I want this hole here? And I don't think I want that hole, actually. Cancel. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take those holes away. I don't like that. I think it's going to make this, there's not much wood here. So let me move and show you what I mean. If I do it this way, notice how little wood there is right between there. That's going to make this really weak. So I'm going to make this solid. I'm going to cut that away. So I'm going to come back before I did the combine tool. Actually, I'm just going to leave it there and work from where I am. I think that might just be easier. I'm going to turn the back thigh, everything but the back. I'm going to keep the back thigh, and then I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to click here. I'm going to go right to extrude right away. I'm going to click on this and that. I'm going to do a negative thickness, and I'm going to make sure it says join, and I'm going to click OK, and that just sealed that hole up. Now I've got to use this to cut away that thing on the bottom thigh. And maybe I'll show you that right now. So bottom thigh still has this one. So what I can do is, because all this is already cut, I can just cut that one using this one. And notice how those went away now. And I'm going to click OK. And now those two pieces are done. So I'm going to take the back thigh off and turn the front thigh on, turn the back off, the bottom thigh off. And again, I'm going to do a quick sketch. I'm going to go right to extrude this one and this one. I'm going to do a negative thickness. Oops. A negative thickness. Make sure it says join and click OK. Then I'm going to turn the bottom thigh on, and I'm going to cut the bottom thigh, and that'll get rid of these little things with that, and click OK. So yeah, that looks much nicer to me. I like the look of that way better. So I'm going to turn everything back on and then do just one more inspection. So I'm going to do a move, and I'm just going to drag this one forward. Oh, you know what? I'm going to grab it by the middle thing so I can just scooch it off to the side like that. And it looks like I've got all the tabs around these sides, around that side. There's no tab on the bottom. That's what it's supposed to be. Flatter on the bottom, tabs around all the sides. So that looks pretty good. I think that one might be, yeah, nothing there. That might be totally done. So I'm going to go cancel on that one. And then I'm going to move this one out of the way. And I'm going to check it. I've already checked the front. So where this little tab comes through, like this little one comes through, there's a hole there and a hole there. That side looks good. That one looks good. If I look at the bottom, okay, there's the hole that tab's going to go through right there. So that one's good. Cancel. And then I'm going to move the back out of the way. And it's got tabs all around, just like the front did, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it looks like, yeah, that's all super solid. Okay, I don't see anything wrong with that one. And then the last one I'm going to do is, I think I've already done it, but I'm just going to move this one out of the way and just make sure. So a few in the middle here, a hole there for the thigh, yep. And then outside there's one there and a hole there. All right, cancel. I think I'm all good. So let's come back here. Let's turn our legs back on, zoom out, and that is where we are. So the next video will focus on how to create this hip joint, and then from there we'll straight up to the torso and into the head. We still have quite a bit of work left to do. Hang in there.